The amendment to me is the heart of the issue. What we're asking here is for a public hearing. It's pretty clear that there could be a bilan, a sort of appraisal given in a report, but we want to hear from all of civil society here. This amendment is the key of this motion. So if you refuse those two last points by trying to retract them from the motion, you're really taking out the heart of our motion. In the P-6 amendments that were made initially by the Tremblay administration in 2012 were a mirror of the Bill 78, which became Law 12 in Quebec City. As you know, Law 12 was abrogated. But what I might want to add on this too, and this is why I think we should have a public hearing as well, there was, in fact, a sunset clause in Law 12. It was to be ceased to exist the 1st of July, 2013. So the position here saying that we can't even have a public hearing on a law that wouldn't even exist in Quebec today because Charest said himself that it's a special circumstances, I find that extreme. I think we have to have at least a public hearing on it. It seems to me so obvious. I don't even know what the problem is. What are we afraid of? Let's have a public hearing. There are 2 points that were added in the amendments of P6. One was 2.1. It was about whether we should give our itinerary before we have a march, or the location, if it was in a park or something. Now we're living in the age of social media. We all cheered on the Arab Spring. We wanted a liberation in the Arab countries. It came because of social media, spontaneous protests. And indeed, we're in a different world right now. And oftentimes, in fact, the Barreau du Québec, the Bar of Quebec, severely criticized this adding to P6. I have the quote right here. I'd love to hand it to you. The Barreau du Québec said that this
Mr.
fundamentally
Sauvé,
attains
I would
the
like you
freedom
to
of
come back
expression.
on the amendment, please.
Absolutely. And I think because if the Barreau du Québec doesn't agree with that part of P6, we might as well at least have a public hearing on it to see how it goes and hear from civil society. I want to hear from the Barreau de Quebec in public. I don't want just the SPVM to come and drop a report. I think it'll be good to have a report from the SPVM, but we need the Barreau de Quebec as well. We need civil society here. In terms of the mask wearing as well, that was the second article in the P6 amendment. This was severely also criticized by the Barreau de Quebec. And it was even brought up in the Parliament of Canada, if we recall. The Conservative member, Blake Richards, C309, the mayor voted with the Conservative against his own party on the second reading and report stage, and then voted with his party to say no to the law banning face masks and then criminalizing them and third reading. So perhaps the mayor would like to have a public hearing on it as well, so we can hear again about all the aspects of why it's important. And fundamentally, I think we have to ask ourselves these questions with civil society. A mask wearing might be very valid for somebody who wants to go to protest. If I work for a certain company, a mining company that may perhaps be doing something very illegal or completely contravening human rights in a country, I might want to protest them, but might want to keep my job so I can feed my family. So I might want to wear a mask. If I'm protesting a certain government who might be having my family in a position of compromise, and I want to protest them, I might want to wear a mask. And civil society needs to come here and hear that. So I would urge,
sur l'amendement, sur les 2 points de l'amendement.
Absolutely. It's about a public hearing, and this amendment that you're trying to make is taking completely away that aspect from this motion. So I find it ridiculous. I encourage everybody to vote for it. What are we afraid of? Let's have a public hearing.